Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching us or listening to us from. This is another episode of the Naija FC podcast. This is episode 12. Of course, as always, I'm your host, AyoT, and I have my reliable co-host with me.
Smith Layi, thanks for joining.
Yes, thank you very much, Ms. Lai. Always nice to talk to you. So we have a lot to discuss today. So let's get into it very quickly. For the audience, just to give you a brief understanding of what's going to happen. We're going to talk about some contract renewals that just happened. We're going to talk about a future transfer that hasn't been announced yet, but we're pretty sure it's going to happen. And then we'll dive deep into the Super Eagles 25-man squad for the AFCON 2023 that is coming up in only a few days now, about 2 weeks, until the tournament kicks off. Let's get into it. To start, let's talk about Moses Simon. Super Eagles winger Moses Simon, he just signed a new contract with his club, FC Nantes, extending it by, I believe it was until 2026.
Six.
Yeah. So by 3 years, added to his contract. I'll start with my thoughts. I think Simon has been one of Nantes' best players for a long time. He has come through for them in big matches. PSG, we've seen what he has dribbled Messi. He has scored enough goals against PSG. He has played well against the likes of Monaco, against Lyon. He has led them to the French Cup, a couple seasons ago. So he has been a very reliable player. But at the same time, he is somebody that a lot of people have been expecting him to make a move out of France. I remember even I personally thought it was going to happen when he signed with CAA Base, the agency, very strong agency in England. So I believe that time that this is the reason why he signed. We've heard rumors about Newcastle. We've heard rumors about Leeds United, different teams. Even just recently, earlier this year, we heard that some teams in Saudi Arabia they find them, and I think the news of the contract came as a surprise because we did not hear, he's discussing new contract. I just heard one day that he has signed new contract. So it was surprising to me, but at the same time, we have to look at other factors. I'm sure that he's probably close to becoming a French citizen, or at least a permanent residence in France if he doesn't already have that. So that could have played into it. Nantes could also have offered him a nice financial package. Potentially, they could have put a release clause in the contract. We don't know. Maybe, okay, if a team comes for you and they're ready to pay 15 million, 25 million, will allow you to go. And at the same time, sometimes, they say that the devil is better than the angel that you don't know. So he might be in a very good situation and he's just like, why should I even leave this situation and just mess it up for myself unless it's like the perfect opportunity? But whatever the case, and I mean, it could also be that maybe Nantes just wanted to be in a better position for when he wants to leave to be able to negotiate a bigger transfer fee. Because if person only gets 1 year on the contract or 6 months on the contract, you cannot ask for the same amount of money if the guy has 3 more years on his contract. So it could be for any of these reasons that he signed a new one. But ultimately, I cannot really knock the decision. I cannot really fault it. I think if he stays at Nantes, it's good enough. Nantes is not a top team in the world, but they are also not like a rubbish team. Even though one of these seasons they struggled to stay in League One, but in general they're like a mid-table French side. And with all due respect to Moses Simon, he is not like a world-class player like that. Even though I've compared him to Rafinha in the past, but that's the story for another day. But he's not like a world-class player or anything like that. That is like, he must be playing at a top division or at a top club. So all the best to him. I think, in my opinion, a good enough one for him if he thinks that it is what is right for him. But at the same time, I also would not be shocked if he should still leave them in the summer. What are your thoughts on Moses Simon signing this new deal?
I think Musa Simon is actually what a fantastic player. I think at this stage of his career now, is after stability. He's
Mm.
a family man. I think his family lives in Belgium. Belgium is not far from France. I think he's familiar to the environment and he wants stability. You said something. Maybe he's close to getting his documents in France too. That one could also be a factor. But if you look at the length of the contract, his contract will expire in 2026. That's just after the 2026 World Cup.
Mm.
So maybe he wants to stay competitive till the 2026 World Cup, and after, go for the big with the big payday in the
Mm.
Gulf.
In the
So
Gulf.
yeah, in the Gulf. So we see how it goes. But kudos to him. I think he's prioritizing stability more than this. But like you said earlier, a lot of players have met him in Nantes and they've left him there. Players like Kolomwani, Kolomwani have moved on since. Cyril Gerase, loads of Lonza that would have went to Watford, loads of players there, despite that he was their best player. So I think he's just after stability and I wish him the very best of luck. I think he's targeting this AFCON, the next AFCON, and the next World Cup. So I
Mm,
think after that time, I guess he might be done with the national team.
mm,
All right. That's my thought. I wish him the very best of luck. Very gentleman of the call. A very good family man.
mm. All right. Okay,
Mm.
let's move on to the next contract extension that we have to talk about. And this one is the big one, that a lot of people have been speculating for a long time. And that's why a lot of people have been asking him not to do it for a long time. I'm talking about Victor Osimhen. Osimhen renewed his contract with Napoli, extending for, I believe his own was also 3 more years, and I think the biggest factor there is that the contract includes a release clause that is reported to be about 120 million euro or thereabouts, the release clause. Of course, this is the value that Napoli for some time have been touting that if they want to sell Osimhen, they're not selling him for anything less than that. Especially when that we've seen that other players, have gone for big numbers, or the Modric, Anthony, who, to be honest, are not as good as Osimhen, or at least are not as productive as Osimhen on the football field. So yeah, I would say to me, the news, quote unquote, came as a surprise. It wasn't surprising the day it was announced because Fabrizio don't report them for some time, so we knew it was coming. But at the same time, I also did not think that Osimhen was going to sign a new contract. The Again, I'm not privy to his contract. I've not read it, so I don't know what is inside the contract. But I feel like the only person that is necessarily benefiting from him signing the new contract is the club Napoli. Of course, he got a pay rise, so more money is always a good thing. That's also a good thing for him. But I think what it does is it gives Napoli more leverage that they might not have had before. Napoli obviously don't want to lose their most expensive signing ever for nothing. So him running down his contract, I'm sure is not even something that Napoli contemplated. There's like no way he's running down his contract. We are going to sell him if at all anything. So he could have forced his way out and told Napoli that I'm not signing a new contract. You have to sell me, and Napoli will settle for the best offer that they can get. But I think he maybe feels like he has a good relationship with the board and the people that run the club. Despite the social media people, he probably feels like, oh, he has a good relationship with the owner, with the board. So if they need me to sign a new contract to help them to sell me for a better price, make I just do them. And then of course, any good agent in that conversation will say, okay, if you want us to do you a favor, yourself now you scratch our back as well. So you give us plus 40K a week or plus 30K a week, whatever he negotiated. And of course, more money for Osimhen. Osimhen is already probably one of the highest paid Nigerian footballers. The only person that I think might be competing with him is Igalo that is in Saudi.
Mhm.
I think the others are nothing close to Osimhen in terms of salary. So this would even just take him higher up there. At the end of the day, I still personally think Osimhen needs to leave Napoli. Just for progression. Napoli, with all due respect to them, will never be a top side in the world. They might be champions of Italy, but they would never compete for reputation with the likes of the Man Cities right now, the likes of the Barcelona's historic club, Real Madrid, the Bayern Munich. They will never compete. And the truth is that on any given day, no matter how much they dominate Italy, when they play against an Arsenal or a Liverpool, they go still take them. They go still chop the L. So I want him to leave eventually. Sign for a club that has a bigger reputation. If he moves to the Premier League, whatever he's making in Napoli now, they will even still add another 50K on top in Premier
Mhm.
League. So I mean, obviously he knows what's best for him. Osimhen has said it in the past that you can advise me. Now wasting my mind I go do eventually.
Mhm.
So I wish him all the best. This season is not going so well for Napoli. I hate that I'm being proven right so far because I don't know if you remember, I said it before that I don't think Napoli can repeat what they did last season. So far, they're already proven that they cannot repeat it. Hopefully things can change. Even if Napoli don't do as well, let Osimhen at least just be highest goal scorer again or something, so that his stock can still be as high as it is and it was after the last season. But all the same, I wish him all the very best. What are your thoughts on Osimhen's contract renewal?
Oh no, I think you said it all. I didn't want him to renew the contract, but like you said before, he's a boy that knows exactly what he wants to do. So he said, "I'm waiting the man I go do," and he don't do waiting there in mind. So that
Mm.
was a quote from me. And I think this contract renewal is just making it slightly more clearer now that there's a release clause on this contract that if anybody wants to get Victor Osimhen, they will have to pay this amount. It's not as if that be the ones before. If they come with this money, so I know come with this one. No, this one now, if you come with the amount too, it's like you want to go and sell bread. If you go to the supermarket and they say bread is £1.50, it's £1.50. It's not as if can you take £1.20? No, you bring the £1.50, they sell it for you. Nobody price bread. So that's Victor's price money now. If you have the money, if you don't have the money, go and save or go and get money from loan people that they will chase you. So if you don't, so that's the Victor's price money, and the salary is also what increase. We play for money too. I'm not a football player. Sorry, footballers play for money.
Yeah.
So apologies for that. I'm not a football player, but the money is also on the high. So I wish him the very best of luck. I know that he renewed it to help Napoli to also help himself. So
Mm.
I wish Victor, the current Africa Player of the Year, the best of luck.
All right, all right. Best of luck to Victor Osimhen. And then one transfer that we have to talk about today is that of 20-year-old striker Rafiu Durosinmi. Fabio Romano, well-respected journalist, has reported that the deal has been done, contracts have been signed, everything has been sorted out, and we're just waiting for the window to open for Durosinmi to join Eintracht Frankfurt. Excuse my German, I'm not German. But he's joining Frankfurt in the German Bundesliga. And I think this is a deal that I'm very excited to see happen. He's been a player that I've been tracking. I've been following him for a while now since he was playing for MFK Kavina. The interesting part of it is that he only just joined, what are they called? Victoria Pilsen in the past few years. He first of all played for their B team. In 2 games for their B team, he scored 2 goals. After that one, they said, okay, no, we're going to bring this guy to our first team to come and do something for us. And in the season so far, in I think 13 matches in the league or thereabouts, he scored 6 goals. He's made 6 assists. He scored 3 goals in conference league qualifying. And he's just been showing that he's a player that has a future, a bright future ahead of him. A lot of these Nigerian players that play in Czech Republic, one thing that I've noticed is that when they get there, they don't necessarily get the chance. But when they start getting a run of matches, we saw it with the likes of Mohamed Tijani, who moved to Slavia Prague. When they start getting a run of games, they bang in the goals. And Durosinmi, I think, is a quality player as well. He has a little bit of height to him, so he's pretty good, physically. He's pretty good in the air. And he's not the fastest. I wouldn't call him a fast player, but he's a player that knows how to use the pace that he has quite well. And I think his goal scoring ability is something that has to be cherished also. And he's one of those strikers that, okay, even if I'm not scoring goals, he has the wherewithal. He knows how to hold up play, and he knows how to bring his teammates into the attack as well, so he can provide assists for them. Frankfurt is, a team that, if you asked me, oh, what team do I want him to join? I would not necessarily have thought of Eintracht Frankfurt, to be honest. But at the same time, they are currently sixth in the German Bundesliga, so they are not a bad team at all. They are doing pretty well. And I believe that if he goes there, I'm not going to pretend like I know all the players in Frankfurt right now, but I believe that if he goes there and he gets a number of games, just like we've seen with Victor Boniface, or with Akko Adams that moved to Montpellier, if you give him games, I think he's going to score goals. And I'm honestly very happy to see this transfer come to fruition. The more Nigerian players that we have playing in the top leagues in the world, the better it is for our football in general. I wish him all the best. This is a player that ordinarily now he should be talking about playing for Nigeria's under 20, under 23 squad, for him to continue to develop. And then maybe in another 3-4 years, he will become a Super Eagles player. But as we don't get developmental squad, he's only just going to be doing it for a club. And if he mistakenly now go and score 15 goals in Germany now, people will say that they should put him in Super Eagles as well. But all the same, I'm happy for him. I wish him all the best. I think it's a fantastic transfer. If I had to rate it, I'll rate the move 8.5 out of 10. Moving from Czech Republic to the German Bundesliga is a big jump. It's not going to be easy. he's going to maybe take a few days or a few games to adapt. But I have full confidence in him. I believe in his ability, and I think that Durosinmi will come good for Frankfurt. What do you think of the move?
The move is like I have to give kudos to AyoT, kudos to you. Most of football fans don't even know someone called Rafiu Durosinmi.
Hmm.
You brought him to our attention when you put him in the Eagle Strikers team of the week. And that was when I even noticed him. And then one went to check him up. And you said that he's a very, very good player. So you reporting a lot about him, and that's why Nigerian football fans even know him very well. So he's a player that I really actually would like what I saw with him. But what makes me sad is that he's a boy that did not go through the Nigerian youth system. So,
Hmm.
talents just keep flying abroad without them being discovered. They get forced for the youth system in Nigeria. That's actually what's very sad. I'm happy for him. I'm happy he's joining Frankfurt. Fantastic player. We have like three strikers in the what's it called in the Czech league. Victor Lasogui of I think of is it
Sparta
Slavia
Prague.
Prague? Slavia Prague and
Sparta.
Sparta Prague, yes, Sparta Prague, and Mohamed Tijani of Slavia Prague.
Slavia.
Okay,
Mhm.
Slavia Prague. I know that I might mix their names together. So one moved now. Maybe the other two would motivated too. If they get the opportunity, they can also leave the Czech league. It's a big jump. It's a big jump. But with what I've seen about him, I think he's actually a very, very good player. And what I can say is to actually to wish him the very best of luck. I also want him to to get going straight away. And I know that with what I saw, that one might just be his starting point.
Hmm. Amazing, amazing. Best of luck to Rafiu Durosinmi. We wish you all the best in your new adventure in Germany. If I'm ever in Germany and I can come and watch your game, I'll try to watch. Okay, let's move on to the big topic for this week. The Super Eagles 25-man squad for the Africa Cup of Nations coming up in January in Ivory Coast. I think before we go through the squad, the first thing I'll point out to people that are watching or listening is that Coach Jose Peseiro elected to take only 25 players. Other national teams, we've seen them select 27-man squad. So we know that we're allowed to take up to 27. Ivory Coast took 27. They're in our group.
Senegal.
But Coach Jose Peseiro took only 25 players. Before we get into it, Milai, what do you think of that decision to leave two spots empty going into the AFCON?
Yeah, I think depends on the excuse he gave was that he'll be able to control the squad more
Mm,
than sometimes the more people you have around you, the more Judas you will have.
mm,
So it's better to have people you can easily look at, not for people to be picking beans at one corner because the squad is too big. I understood that okay, he wanted 25. That is fine. But 25 must be 25. It must be solid 25. So
mm.
I don't fault that because normally he went to take 23, but he's taking 25. It's not a bad thing. But maybe 25 is better for him. I just think that he's okay. He's okay for me.
Mm. Okay, and you said if you're taking 25, then 25 must be solid 25. So let's get into the list of the players that he selected, and we'll see how solid we think this 25 are. I would say we should take it this way. We'll take it position by position. We'll discuss each position before we move on to the next one, so that
Hmm.
we have some kind of structure to it. So of course we'll start from the goalkeepers. Um, in the 25-man squad for the AFCON, Coach Jose Peseiro selected Francis Uzoho of Omonia in Cyprus. He selected Stanley Nwabali of Chipa United in South Africa and Olorunleke Ojo of Eimba FC in Nigeria. Um, I'll go first and say slightly surprised, but not really surprised. Um, of course, Maduka Okoye was not in the 40-man list, so no surprises that he's not here. But I had expected Adebayo Adeleye to make the cut. I had thought that simply because he's one of the goalkeepers that is playing week in, week out, he plays in Israel, which is not the biggest league in the world, but at the same time, it's a bigger league than Cyprus, or Nigeria, with all due respect to both countries, and he's been in the system, he's been in setup for a little while. I thought he will get a chance to go to the AFCON. But Jose Peseiro, of course, has made it obvious that he's not the biggest fan of Adeleye. Even when he's called him up in the past, he hasn't been playing him. Even for friendly matches where we're like, okay, we don't see everything we also want to give us now. Play Adeleye for this friendly. Let him show what he can give us too. He hasn't played him. The only time that he played Adeleye was when Uzoho could not play. Like literally, so it's like when they forced his hand, he played him. But other than that, he has not been interested. So I think that was a little bit surprising to me. And then Olorunleke Ojo, he's also the goalkeeper from the MPFL that has been getting called up recently. So I kind of knew that, okay, if he's going to call MPFL goalkeeper, Olorunleke Ojo will probably be selected. And then Stanley Nwabali, if you are going to take a whole trip with the whole press that he had around it, everything to go and watch him play in South Africa, then it means that you are really, really considering this guy. Nwabali is a physical specimen. He's big, he's tall, probably even bigger than Uzoho, has been in goal, so it looks like Pesero decided to go with those three goalkeepers and drop Adeleye because Adeleye is relatively shorter. Adeleye, I'm not sure of his height, but maybe Adeleye is like 5'10". It's not really that. It doesn't, Adeleye doesn't impose. If you see him in goal, you're not shaking as a striker, quote unquote. It doesn't mean he's not a good goalkeeper, but he doesn't have that physical presence. I feel bad for him. I will say that. I feel sad for him. He's somebody that we spoke about him a lot about why is this guy not getting caught up? Why is he not getting caught up? Finally entered the system, and then now that the tournament has come up, he didn't make the cuts to go. But what can we say? Coach's decision. As much as I feel bad for him, I'm not really going to criticize the coach for the selections that he made. Because at the end of the day, it's not like we have any goalkeeper that is Iker Casillas and he left him or anything like that. The goalkeepers we have now manage with the manage all of them. So, whoever is selected, I think is up to the coach. So yeah, what do you think about the three goalkeepers selected?
Oh, you also mentioned that Francis Zoll actually was being in the list, because
Yeah.
he's being Pacero's number one. I don't know, maybe they are cousins, but he's trusted Zoll from day one. Well,
Yeah.
it's good to have that person too, very close to you in your career, that you say, oh, this person got my back. So just like Michael Silva and Iwobi, Iwobi is always his man. So, and for Stanley Wabali, he's never played under Pacero before, and I don't know why he waited till now before he called Stanley Wabali. I don't know. Maybe I don't know who scouted the guy for him, but I just think that we have tested this guy before calling him, before naming in the 25-man list. And for Olorunleke Ojo, it's like the battle between Adeleye and Olorunleke Ojo. The people have been shouting on Twitter that their home base should be in the national
In the
team. I
list.
think Olorunleke Ojo is just taking the slots of
Mm.
the home base goalkeeper. If it wasn't that Twitter, this thing versus, I think it would have been Adeleye that would have actually would be there. Because when Adeleye and Olorunleke Ojo were in camp for the AFCON qualifiers against Sierra Leone in Liberia, they went for Adeleye ahead of Olorunleke Ojo. How come your second choice now miraculously become first choice? And we all know that when Olorunleke Ojo kept for Enyimba in the CAF Super League, we know how horrible he performed.
Mm.
So, it's just for the slot of the home base. I'm pretty sure that,
So,
you know,
are you
I'm
saying
going to
that?
make,
Sorry, I want to ask you: are you saying that Olorunleke Ojo is the John Noble of 2021?
yes, he is. He is. He is. He is. He's just taking the slot of the home base player. In fact, God forbid, if the first two choice was the first goalkeepers got injury and they want to bring Olorunleke Ojo in, I'm pretty sure that Pacero will go and get his blood pressure machine and put on one side and before they make this decision. Because God forbid, it's going to be hard. They will ask Omero to go and keep. Now for them to say that, ask Omero to warm up. Now for them to say that Olorunleke Ojo should go and man the post. I know that he's a tough choice. But, I just wish that, and for those that go on Twitter to start abusing, mocking Adeleye, please, senior journalists, senior bloggers, please, just, it happens.
Mm.
There's AFCON in 2025. This guy will bounce back. I wish him
Mm.
the best of luck. I'm disappointed he wasn't there, but I think he's going to bounce back.
Okay, very quick question that I have for you before we move on to the defenders. Amongst the MPFL goalkeepers that made the 40-man list, Olorunleke Ojo, Amaso Basogi, and Christian Nwoke, do you think that Jose Peseiro selected the best one of them?
No, he selected the weakest.
Hmm.
He selected because if the three of them are in camp, I'm pretty sure that Christian Nwoke will be the first choice. Then
Hmm.
Amaso Basogi will be the second choice. And Olorunleke Ojo will be the third
Hmm.
choice. Olorunleke Ojo, I watched him close to 10 times last season. I watched him nearly through the CAF Super League. See, Olorunleke Ojo, he might be good for 60 minutes. The rest 30 minutes, so he will lose concentration. He as if he's thinking about something. Maybe he will. So, as in, I don't know who scouted him for Pasero, but I think it's a wrong scouting.
Hmm.
That's my opinion. I think we have better goalkeepers than him
Hmm.
in the league.
Okay. So yeah, people that are watching and are listening, feel free to comment and let us know what you think about the selection of the goalkeepers. Do you agree with the three goalkeepers selected? Would you have taken somebody else from the initial 40-man list? Okay, let's move on now to the defenders. This
Mm-hmm.
position, of course, I think defense is probably where the competition for places out of the 40-man list, in my opinion, was probably where the competition was the closest, whereby
Mm-hmm.
almost all the players are around the same level. So
Mm-hmm.
it's now a matter of personal preference and maybe system who you think
Mm-hmm.
can fit well into your system. I'll run through the defenders. He selected Ola Aino of Nottingham Forest in England, Chidozie Awaziem of Boavista in Portugal, Bright Osai Samuel of Fenerbahce in Turkey, William Trust Ekong of PAOK in Greece, Bruno Onyemaechi of Boavista in Portugal, Kenneth Omeruo of Kashimpasa in Turkey, Shemi Ajayi of West Brom in England, Calvin Bassey of Fulham in England, and Zaidu Sanusi of FC Porto in Portugal. I'll start by saying, personally for me, no real surprise. I think no real surprise here. Um, Ekong, back in the squad, even though a lot of fans have criticized Ekong in the past, I expected that Ekong would make the AFCON list. He's a leader in the team, he's vice captain, he's been there, he's done that. As much as Ekong has a mistake waiting in him, he's also has days that he can be quite good and he can also provide, some kind of effectiveness in attack as well from set pieces. So I'm not surprised that he made the cut. Bright Osai Samuel has been his first choice, has been his number one right back since he made his debut, and he has played well in most matches if we're being fair to him. So of course, by the side, someone was going to make it. I think Olaino and Tyrone Ebuehi. Olaino has been in the team more regularly. Jose Peseiro only called Ebuehi one time, probably to observe him and to see if he can keep up. And probably what he saw that one time is like, no, he hasn't shown me enough to replace him, or to put him in ahead of Olaino. So Olaino makes the cut. The left backs, Bruno and Zaidu, no surprise there. I felt that Collins might get a chance, and Collins might maybe sneak a call up because, to be fair to Jamilu Collins, even though a lot of fans don't like him, Jamilu Collins has been playing well for Reading this season. He has been doing quite well since he came back from his long-term ACL injury that he had. So I thought maybe he can just sneak into the squad. If it was 27, maybe he can sneak in or something. But unfortunately, he didn't make it. A bit sad for him, but at the same time, I cannot complain about Zedu and Bruno. I think that the two best left backs that we have is now a matter of who is going to start. I know when we spoke about it last time, we disagreed. I said Bruno, you said Zedu. But we'll see what Jose Peseiro goes with. And then as far as the centre backs, Calvin Bassey, Omeruo, Awaziem, Shemilogo Ajayi, also not too surprising. Calvin Bassey, of course, was going to make the squad. He's been having a decent season with Fulham, after he joined them in the Premier League. Omeruo is one of the leaders in the team, has a lot of experience, part of the 2013 AFCON squad that won in South Africa, back then, one of the leaders in the team, and he has been a consistent fixture in the Super Eagles, so nothing surprising about that. Shemi Ajayi, of course, as well, we expected him to be in the squad. In fact, I think we even predicted him to start at the AFCON. So not too surprising that he's there. I watched Shemi Ajayi play today for West Bromwich Albion against Leeds United. They won the game 1-0. And with all, credits to him, he was quite solid in in defense. The only thing that I feel about Semi Ajayi when I watch him play in the championship is that sometimes the tackle that he makes, they fear person. You know,
Mm,
I believe there's going to be VAR at the AFCON. There's going
mm.
to be VAR. So
Yes.
he just has to be careful because even today, he made one tackle that it was very close to being penalty, but in championship, they don't have VAR. So if ref
Mm-hmm.
doesn't blow, they cannot call it back. But if they have a chance to watch it, it's all those ones whereby it just depends on how the ref is feeling on that day. Ref can just say, no, 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 it was a hard kick, give penalty for it. I've watched at least 3 of his matches this season that
Mm-hmm.
he has done something that can easily be penalty, but because there's no VR in championship, he did not concede it. So that's the only thing I will say. In his advantage though, the game at the AFCON, I believe, is going to be slower than the
Yep.
championship matches
Mm-hmm.
because of how the African games usually go. They're not as fast, back and forth like the way the championship is. So maybe he wouldn't necessarily have to rush into some of those tackles because today he was playing against Wilfred Nyoto and Christensen Somerville, and the two of them are quick, players that,
Mm-hmm.
that move with the ball. So
Yes.
yeah, at the AFCON, he might not necessarily have that issue, but it's just something to watch. If it costs penalty at AFCON, I wouldn't be too surprised. But I hope not. And then I'll say I'm also not surprised about what's it called? Awaziem. If I compare Awaziem to Torunariga, I would expect Awaziem to make the squad ahead of them. Awaziem has been there for a while. He's also an utility player. We have to give credit to him. He can play center back. He can play right back. If push comes to shove, you even put him in DM. He can try and give you a decent effort. And some people on social media have been saying Akpo Guma should have made the team ahead of Awaziem. But for me, I would say again, I've been watching them closely. In fact, this season, Akpoguma has nothing to talk about. He has barely played. When he played, he has not been good at all. Whereas Awaziem has actually been quite good for Boa Vista in Portugal. So nothing too surprising for me there. Of course, like I said earlier, a bit sad for Jamilu Collins because I think he had a good enough chance. But yeah, I can't complain too much about the defenders. What do you think?
Yeah, there's when we make our predictions for the AFCON score, I don't think we got it wrong. I think nearly everything was actually we got everything nearly right because we went for this agency ahead of Jamil Collins. We know that Bruno
Yeah,
is going to be there. We went for Ola, too, and Bryce Society Samuel ahead of Taron Way, and went for the four central defenders.
yeah,
Kevin Bassi, Semilu Guajayi, Kenneth Omero, the hours, wait for those guys. So I just think that I'm not really surprised about it, but it's just for him to find the right combination so that
mm,
we can actually triumph at the AFCON, so that we can actually do well. Also for Sanusi, I can see that Sanusi is mostly like a Champions League left back for Porto because they reserve him for like all their Champions League games.
yeah.
It's always the first choice when it's time for Champions League. And the other guy too is it Wendell. Wendell will
Yes,
play
Wendell.
Wendell will play the league game. So it's gonna be interesting to see how it lines up. But please, I also want him to know something, Pasero, that if you don't concede, you have the chance of winning.
Mm,
He should make sure that we keep it tight at
at
the
the back.
back. That is
Mm,
it. I know that it's a very stubborn 4-4-2 formation, but 3-5-2 will not be bad. Well, I'm happy for the defenders. I don't think I have any objection to any player I should have picked.
mm.
Kevin Bass, what's it called? Kevin Akpoguma, Tyrone Ibue, Turan Aniga. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Apologies if he's listening. And also, what's it called? Also, Jamili Collins. I don't think you can argue for them.
Mm,
The guys they picked are better. That's my
mm.
problem. They are
Okay.
better.
Again, for anybody that's watching or listening, please, please, please engage with us. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Is there anybody that you wanted to see there that did not make it? Is there anybody that you are very excited to see in the squad that you did not expect to make it? Just let us know. If you disagree with what we said as well, feel free to let us know in the comment section. And then moving on to the midfield. Midfield is a very interesting position for Super Eagles because no matter the squad list, no matter the match that is coming out that we're playing, when the list is out like this, people always say we did not pick enough midfielders. We did not pick enough midfielders. People always talk about it. And then going into this AFCON, we have gone ahead with 5 midfielders. Again, 27-man squad, we only took 25. So we could have taken 1 or 2 more midfielders if we wanted to. But Jose Peseiro said, no, my midfielders are Wilfred Ndidi of Leicester City in England, Raphael Onyedika of Club Brugge in Belgium, Joe Aribo of Southampton in England, Frank Onyeka of Brentford in England, and then Alex Iwobi of Fulham FC in England. First of all, the thing that jumps out is that now for midfield where we get all our players with the England in the Aribo, Onyeka, Iwobi. So if you are a very casual fan, you expect them to be good players if they are playing in Premier League and in Championship. And of course we have Onyedika and Club Brugge as well, who has played Champions League football and does well for Club Brugge in Belgium. But I will say, I was a bit sad for Alassane Youssouf because we've been asking when is he going to get his chance? When is he going to get his chance? They finally put up for 40-man list. No be say they even call the 40 people, come camp, come assess them to say, okay, you're not good enough. It's like, why did you even release the first list? Some countries just went straight into their final squad. They did not release any provisional list. So I honestly, I'm like, why did you release a 40-man list when it's not as if you called them to camp or anything like that? You could have just released the 25 from the start and let us know who you're picking. The 40-man list, of course, you could have still submitted it to CAF, whereby if anybody gets injured, you take a replacement from. But to put it out to the public, some people don't already, they congratulate them, say, congrats, they called you for AFCON camp, all that kind of thing. Only for you to see lists, I think it's like 8 or 9 days later, and then you're no longer there. Your joy has just been sucked away. So, a bit sad for him. The other thing that, of course, stands out is that there's no Umwakali, there's no Dele Bashiru. So I guess let me ask you this question, and I'll get your thoughts on the midfield. Do you think that by not selecting either of Umwakali or Dele Bashiru, in fact, saying that I prefer not to have them there because you have 2 slots left, so I prefer not to have them there at all. Do you think that the coach is neglecting a little bit the importance of, maybe a passer or creativity that a lot of people have been saying we need in Super Eagles midfield? What do you think?
What are we? I will just say these few things. I think he invited Dede Bashiru once, and after that, he didn't invite him again. He continued with Onyedika because I think he saw what the boy could do. So that is it. Sometimes as a coach, he's not a football fan, he's a coach. So you must be strong with your decisions. You must be able to make decisions and stand by that decision. Oh, this boy, I've seen this boy needs more time. So that's why I just think. I think that for me too, I think that Dele Bashiru needs at least 1 year to be ready for Super Eagles. That's why I think. I just think that the Onyedika, going for the Onyedika, okay, let me just answer that one. I'll wait for you to ask for my opinion on that. And also for Nwakali, the Nwakali name is, as I said it before, a lot of people came for me. I saw these comments, I was just smiling. A lot of people came for me on both Alassane Youssouf's situation and also Nwakali's situation. Looking at the stats, because me, I based my analysis on stats. I said it that Alassane Youssouf will add nothing to this team. Not what we add nothing. The guys selected can do what Alassane Youssouf can do, especially Fran the Tango Onyeka. I know. So, I saw those comments, but, a lot of people don't just base it on emotions. And for Kelechi Nwakali too, the passer, I have my reservations for that. There's a lot of things that you need to actually do in a football game. I don't think it's a Super Eagles material too. A lot of people have been sentimental. A lot of people have looked at it that, that 17 is still like fresh in their memory. It's 8 years ago now. But see, this is senior football. And this is Super Eagles. You need to prove yourself more. Then we know that's okay. You actually were ready. I'm not surprised that he went for those boys. And that was the pillars we predicted. I think we got it right.
Yeah. I guess my question to you that you've not answered yet is that, do you think it is better to leave them at home, both of them, and leave the spot empty, than maybe just having them, one of them at least, just there in case. In case, you think it's
You,
better to have left them at home?
because they cannot add anything to. That's why I left them. You just need that. No,
Mm,
no, no, I don't need them because he knew that those 5 guys that he selected in the midfield, it's not even one of them that will play. Maybe some of them will play the last game.
mm,
So he knew that they cannot add anything bigger into the team. So in that slot, if I was our Pasero, I would have added an Endaga or a
mm,
player just coming up to come and learn. I know he will not play, just come and watch them play. You can't just say you are bringing Wakari to come and learn. His mate
mm,
is Victor Osimhen. His mate is Samuel Chukwueze. And you are saying he should come and learn. To come and learn what?
mm,
You say you are bringing Dele Bashiru. It was meant to be the same 20 World Cup with Victor Boniface. So it will think that, come on, and FIFA the mate now. So I
mm,
supposed to date this team too. So if you want to bring somebody that is to that team to come and learn, it should be someone that is like a novice to
mm,
international football. Yes.
mm. Okay, fair points. And what are your thoughts on the rest of the midfield before we move
So
on?
no, like I said, I think I got 100% in midfield. So I passed. There's nothing I can actually want to say more than to say that those that I predicted that he goes to the next, he selected them. So Ufele Didi will also be there. He's the main man in the midfield. Alex Wobi is going to be there. So a lot of people are criticizing him. They should be dropped for Wakali. For where?
Wait, who
And
should be dropped from Wakali?
Alex Wobi.
Are they dreaming?
Yeah. So and also my brother that says that will be watching this video too when he's out. And also he will be laughing, I'm pretty sure. And also Onyeka, Onyedika, they have been part of this team, and Aribo.
Yeah.
So you don't expect, and Aribo is doing well now. So you don't expect him to just say, okay, I'm sorry, Aribo, I've dropped you now because I'm going to get somebody from Turkey to come and replace you. No. I think I don't have any issue with the midfield. 5 midfield is enough. Parcero only play 2 midfielders. Only 2 midfielders. So 2, 2, 2, 1. So 5 is enough for him. And
Mm.
some players too in that defense can come and play midfield.
If
Like
need be,
the
Semi Ajayi
Premier
and
Ajayi.
Awaziem can try
Awaziem,
if need be.
yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fair points, fair points. And yeah, I think we got midfield right as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on to the forwards now.
Mm-hmm.
Forwards, of course, in the initial list, I think there were about 14 or 13 forwards, and then
Mm-hmm.
this one has now been trimmed down to I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. I'll start with the forwards selected. The first person on my list is
Sorry,
Kelechi.
I just want to make one point, please.
Okay,
The list 40 man list was not released by the NFF. I think it was the ACL Sport that went to actually got information and released the 40 man list. I think CAF too published the 40 man list.
mm,
So it's not as if it's like a joy short lived. It's not as if Pacero is wicked. No,
mm,
he already had his own team. So please, just that I know a lot of people have been saying, thank God, Alessandro Yusuf for the first time, thank God. But we all know that he will not be there.
no,
So
and
why?
that's sorry,
Yes,
and that's a good point that you made. It
yes,
wasn't the Super Eagles or NFF that announced the 40-man list.
yes.
It was published by ACL Sports,
SS Sports.
media.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so that's a good point. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's go to the forwards now. Let's go to the forwards. I'll start with Kelechi Iheanacho of Leicester City in England, Samuel Chukwueze of AC Milan in Italy. We have Moses Simon of FC Nantes in France. We have Ademola Lookman of Atalanta in Italy. We have Victor Osimhen of SSC Napoli in Italy. We have Victor Boniface of Bayer Leverkusen in Germany. We have Sadiq Umar of Real Sociedad in Spain. And then we have the captain of the side, Ahmed Musa of Sivasspor in Turkey. I'll go first. I'll go first. First of all, the thing that jumps out to you is Ahmed Musa back in the squad. AFCON time, Ahmed Musa is back. Of course, I'm not surprised, but I was hoping to be surprised. I was genuinely hoping to be surprised that when the list comes out, I will not see Ahmed Musa's name there. Again, I like Ahmed Musa. I love Ahmed Musa. I respect everything that he has done for Nigeria. all the goals that he has scored, all the times that he has led the team, I respect and I cannot take away any of his credit. But the reality of our football today is that Musa is not doing anything to warrant a place in the Super Eagles squad. He doesn't play matches for his club. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think Musa has taken on the field since about September or October. Let me actually check. Or maybe he's played one game. Since September, he has played only one match. Since September, one match of football. And then all of a sudden, when it's time for AFCON, he's there. He's a guy that has not been in the Super Eagles squads in recent times. So it's so funny to me that you've been playing friendly matches. You did not call him up. All of a sudden, now it's time for tournaments. You called him up. I mean, I don't know what else to say. What I find funny is that a lot of people make excuses for this. And the excuses, frankly, make me laugh. I saw on our social media, on our Instagram page today, one particular guy has been fighting everybody. Anybody that says Musa should not be there, he will call them tribalistic. He will say they don't like Hausa people. And it's like, why is it that once anybody criticizes selection of Musa, it always turns to, oh, you don't like Hausa, or you're tribalistic. And it's like, no, we all respect what he has done for us. We all respect the ability that he had. But we all know that Musa is not what it is today, or what it was a few years ago when he was scoring at the World Cup in 2018. The truth is that Musa right now is making this list to be 24 players. That's just the reality. Because there's, just like you said, Umakali or Alassane Yusuf, we're not going to add anything to the team. Musa in 2024, in fact, is not adding anything to the Super Eagles team. And then I guess the best arguments that anybody ever has for Musa that they have now is, oh, he's going there for morale. He's going there as a leader. He's not really expecting to play matches. He's going there to organize the team. And then for me, I look at it. If you talk about experience, yes, Musa won the AFCON in 2013, but so did Kenneth Omeruo. If you talk about leadership, we have Omeruo there. We have Ekong there. We have Moses Simon there. These are players that have been there, done that. They've, like, Ekong, Omeruo, they've gone to multiple AFCONs. They've gone to World Cup. They have the top level playing experience. If you say, oh, African football is different, they know African football. They've played it. They've done it. So for me, experience and leadership, we're just deceiving ourselves if we claim that that's the reason. And then I guess for me, the most funny or hilarious one was that I saw a tweet today from, I won't call his name, but from a Nigerian journalist that said, oh, well, the intricacies that come with the NFF and with the Super Eagles camp. He said, remember that Mikel once had to pay money for flights, blah, blah, blah. That Musa is there because when issues arise in camp, he's the one that can talk to the NFF and can solve it for them. And for me, I saw that tweet and I'm like, in all honesty, I understand what that person is saying, but it made me very sad because that is to show you the state of our football. That we are already anticipating. That they will get problem for camp. They are going to fight for something, whether it's allowance or whether it's something which shall cause fight. And we need somebody there that will be the mediator between the players and NFF. Somebody that will calm the situation down, that will fight for them. It's sad that that's the state of our football, that we have to anticipate those kind of issues and carry somebody for mediation. Is he a lawyer? Is he this thing that is going to go and be doing mediation job when he's supposed to be playing football? I'm not surprised that he's there. We predicted it. We predicted him in the squad. But at the same time, I think there needs to be a merit-based system. We need to start rewarding excellence. We need to start calling people that deserve to be there. And for me to have picked him ahead of like a Moffi is a big, like, I often call it a slap because sometimes slapping the pain. It's like you use plywood to knock him on his head. Say, he scored 20 goals, we don't care, you're not going, Musa is going. It's a bit sad, And then I'll say, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, Musa decided not to live as a hero. He has decided that he's going to stay there and he's going to allow himself become a villain. And his fans, I don't know how he sees it, but his fans have convinced themselves that we all just hate him. His fans have just convinced themselves that, oh, all of us just hate Musa, that's why we don't want him there. Whereas everybody that has eyes and that can watch football can see that he is no longer offering anything in the football aspect.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad for even Emmanuel Dennis. It would
Mm-hmm.
have been more deserving than Musa, and Dennis has not done anything.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it really wasn't surprising, but at the same time, it was sad. Nathan Teller, I don't think Teller can be too upset. He's still a new boy in the team. I really, I think we thought he might go if he was 27, but since he's 25, I'm not really surprised that he's not selected. And I think Umar Sadiq as well. Sadiq is a player that I like. I cannot even say I don't like Sadiq. In 2000, I think 2021, he was the Eagle Striker MVP of the season when he
Mm-hmm.
had a fantastic season for Almeria. So I know he's a good player. But then when you are dropping certain people for him, you have to compare how they are performing. And the reality of it is that a player like Terry Moffi, even Cyril Dessers, so far this season, have been better than Sadiq. Sadiq is just coming back from a long-term injury, and it's
Yeah.
not like he has come back and he has just hit the ground running and is firing. No, he has come back and is taking it slowly, to make it into the team. The only argument that I have for Sadiq in this situation that maybe was the coach's reasoning for selecting him ahead of a Moffi or a Dessers is that
Mm.
he's if maybe he's looking for somebody that's this guy can be good in the air. He's quite tall, and when we need a goal desperately, and I want to just bring on another person to just come and be an additional body that is tall and can be a presence and can disturb people. Maybe that's how he's looking at Sadiq. That's the role that Onuachu has been playing for us for a long time. But
Mm-hmm.
obviously, Onuachu right now is not the Onuachu of a few years ago, so we understand why he's not selected. But as much as I like Sadiq, I cannot really say that he's been doing better than Terry Moffi. And maybe Moffi, what is working against him is the fact that he's the same archetype, as a Victor Osimhen or as a Victor Boniface. And the coach just like, I don't need three strikers that are the same. I don't need three strikers that are the same. Let me take somebody that is a bit different. And maybe that's why he took Sadiq Umar. A lot of fans are not happy with Sadiq Umar's inclusion. They think he's national quota. I wouldn't go as far as saying that is a quota thing for Sadiq Umar, but at the same time, other than him being a different type of player, it's hard to see why the coach selected him. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the forwards. At the same time, um, I think that the forward line is good enough. Ian Achol, we know the work that he does for us. He's a key player, important player for us. Chukwueze, we know the ability that Chukwueze has. It's only a matter of whether or not he's going to show it. Moses Simon, we know what he brings to the team. We saw him as one of our best players, if not our best player at the last AFCON. Mola Lukman, we also know he's been regular in the side. He's a good player. Osimhen, of course, is going to be leading the line. He's going to be our best chance of scoring a goal in any given match. Victor Boniface, we know how good he is. Utility player, can play up front if he needs to. Can also play as a supporting striker. And then Sadiq and Ahmed Musa make up the rest of the forwards. What are your thoughts, Midline?
So, like you said it all, you were very, you made your points already. But I just want to say a few things about the striking. Ian Shaw will not be questioned because they call him the goal scorer, and he's a big fan of. Pastor is a big fan of him. He can use it anyhow he wants, as a sporting striker, as a winger, or as a striker itself. So we can't fault that inclusion. So, and for Teddy Murphy too, I think it's just unfair on Teddy Murphy because I remember him going to the 17 World Cup too. It was dropped. And this time around too, after doing all the hard work, I remember that Teddy Murphy started this World Cup, these qualifiers with Parcero.
Yeah.
And when they were going to Sao Tome 10-0 and everything was active, he was part of it. He was a
Yeah.
member of this team. I think it's called Nigeria in the friendly game and things like that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, when the soup is ready, they remove his hand. He's it's not easy. And it's not even remove his hand; they slap his hand and remove it because and they brought in someone in there that has not even washed his mouth, has not even tried for three windows. They have not called him. I mean, Musa, when did they call him? Marcelo called him, and now it's now time for Musa to actually what come. What is Musa going to do? Are they going to give him whistle? Or he's going to wear tracksuit and be whistling at the touchline? We don't know. Is he a player coach? Has he done his UEFA badge that they are taking him there? And we don't know the role that Musa wants to go and play. When last did Musa score goal, even a penalty before last? How many years ago? How many months ago? So the data does not actually support Musa being there. So I don't know the role that Musa is going to go and play in AFCON. Maybe he's going to be the middleman between the players and the NFF. We don't know. But they should come out and defend the inclusion of these players. Because how can you just release list and there's no press conference to back it up? There's nobody asking you question. Just release it. Let them go and be debating. Give them content. There you go. It's really unfair. And for Sadiq Kumar, I will still not fault his inclusion. But people are saying that Ed. When did he use Ed to score? I'm not saying this thing, but he's not someone that we say is very prolific with his Eddie. The last time they brought him in the game against Zimbabwe, he was doing back heel when you are trailing. You are doing back heel. What back heel are you doing when you are trailing? So sometimes we have seen these guys before, but for me, it's like we are going with 23 players. So we are going with 23 players. In fact, we are going with 23 players. That's why I think that Parcello would have tried to include 27. Because if Musa is going to be there, just try and know, say, Musa will not play. That's just, or they want to bring him in after 2 minutes. Maybe we have scored 2 goals against Equatorial Guinea. They'll bring him in to come and play 10 seconds. They will pass the ball to him. Then we have scored, you have got 120 caps. And, I know all those things. But for me, Nathan Teller, I think that it's too early for him to come to. I thought that he should be in the team because he can add something to the team. It's a player that, if you are under pressure, it's a guy that you can put up front. If you put him side by side with the defender, he's going to outpace that defender. That's one thing about Nathan Teller. And he's so little and dangerous. In fact, in any national team, in doing this AFCON, I don't think there will be any national team, maybe 1 or 2, that will not pick Nathan Teller in their team. It's only Nigeria, my beloved country, that is bold enough to drop Terry Moffi and Nathan Teller. They are so for me, I just wish him best of luck. The other guys cannot be surprised, but only Musa and Sadiq, that's the only people actually have issue with. But Sadiq, I can still take Sadiq. But it's not come out with doing back kilo when we are trailing. Just come and play on the ball. So that's it.
And I will say, for me, the main thing is that there's a popular saying that a team is only as strong as its weakest link. So if we are considering our weakest link, which I think is Ahmed Musa, it shows that we're a very, very weak team. A player that can barely get game time for Sivasspor in Turkey. Sivasspor is not even like Galatasaray or Trabzonspor or any of these top teams in Turkey, and he can barely get game time, but somehow is deemed good enough to go to the AFCON for Nigeria when we're dropping the likes of Moffi that are scoring goals, topping goal scoring charts, in France. We're dropping the likes of Cyril Dessers. It's a bold decision, but not surprising for we that are the Nigerian fans. We kind of expected it to happen. I just wish the team all the best. Hopefully Osimhen and Boniface are fit throughout the tournament and we don't need any backup or anything like that, and they can just be banging in goals. If we even need anything, let them play Kelechi Nacho. Let him play up front. Nacho is a striker at the end of the day. Sometimes we forget when he's playing for Nigeria. So he can also play up front, and hopefully the team can still do a good job. I think that they have goals in the side. Between Osimhen and Boniface, there is no reason why they should not be scoring at least 6 goals in this AFCON. Between the two of them.
Yeah.
They need to score at least 6 goals.
I want to ask you a question.
Yeah, go on.
If Taiwo Awoniyi was fit, who do you think will drop for Taiwo Awoniyi?
I mean, I would have to imagine that it would have been Sadiq. I would have to imagine that it would have been Sadiq. Because if you call Sadiq over Awoniyi, when Awoniyi is fit, come on now. Like, I like Sadiq, but let's be serious. So I would want to imagine that it's Sadiq that would have dropped. or maybe it would have
Yeah.
taken 26. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it is what it is. I mean, we're going to support the team regardless. We're going to be backing them. Like I said, I think there are still goals in the side. Between Boniface and Osimhen, I think they have quality to score at least 6 goals. We know that Iheanacho always has at least one goal in him. Iheanacho will score at least one
Mm-hmm.
goal. Moses Simon too, even if not penalty, Moses Simon has at least one goal in him.
Mm-hmm.
Then the rest of
Mm-hmm.
the players, I'm not too sure. Chukwueze might not score. Lookman might not score. Lookman, although has the ability to score at least a goal, I think so. It depends on how he's being used.
Mm-hmm.
Chukwueze, I'm not really looking at Chukwueze for goals. Ahmed Musa has no goal in him, no goal, no assist, nothing in him.
Mm-hmm.
Sadiq. I mean, I think if Sadiq is going to score, it's probably
Mm-hmm.
going to be a tapping. It's
Or a
probably going
back,
to
or
be a
a back
tapping
heel.
whereby somebody has say back you. Somebody has done a good job, crossed the ball into the box, and he taps
Mm-hmm.
it in.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I wish the team all the best. I don't want to keep complaining. The deed has been done. I cannot change the list. Fingers crossed, nobody gets injured. I'm not wishing injury on anybody. But yeah, let's see
That's it.
how the team is going to perform. And then again, I'll just say in midfield, I think Iwobi also can provide at least one goal for us. And then in defense, Ekong or maybe Omeruro too can provide at least one goal from header or something for us. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
we go to AFCON, I guess to round off
Mm-hmm.
this episode, now that we've seen our first of all, sorry, two things from this episode. I think we actually got this right from our prediction earlier.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got it right. The only thing is that we chose 27. So obviously we added 2 people that were not in it. But
Yeah.
all the people that are here, we chose.
We chose
All the
them.
people
Yeah.
that are here, we chose. Oh, did we choose Sadiq?
Yeah, we did.
We did. So all the people that are here, we chose them. And obviously we added 2 extra that did not call. We added one
Mm-hmm.
goalkeeper and I think one forward or one,
Mm-hmm.
and teller.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but other than that, we did a pretty decent job. The
Yeah.
Super Eagles have the most expensive squad in Africa, have a
Mm-hmm.
very strong squad. Like you
Mm-hmm.
said, not many national teams can drop some of the players that we dropped. I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
if there was a rule that you can borrow players, they would be begging us to borrow a lot of our players,
Yes.
for the
Yeah.
tournament.
Yeah.
So no reason why we should not go and compete. No reason why. And then it
Mm-hmm.
brings me to my question. Now that we have the final scores, like, how far do you think that this team will go? My question is not how far. Is not how far can we go. Is how far will we go at this AFCON?
Yeah. Okay. Eagle Striker is one of the biggest stage of Nigerian, blogging and a big platform. I will say this thing here: Nigeria will win it.
Nigeria will. See, that's it. Like, that if we lose early, people are going to come for you.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying it now. Even now, self, people will see and I'm having malaria.
Yeah. So you say Super Eagles will win the AFCON?
I think so. I think we're winning it.
Okay. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm not as bold as you are. I'm not as confident as you are. I believe in the ability of the players. I think for sure we're getting out of our group. But
Mm-hmm.
that's where it now becomes tricky for me, because if we manage to finish second and we just get a difficult draw in the round of 16, anything can
Mm-hmm.
happen. But I think that the Super Eagles will reach minimum third place match. Very minimum, we'll play in the
Mm-hmm.
third place match.
Mm-hmm.
That's my own prediction. I don't know about win. I hope we win, but I think at the very minimum we will reach the third place match. And hopefully we win that third place. I'll say we will finish third.
Yeah.
Is my prediction. I think we'll finish third. For me, I think the favorites are Senegal and maybe Morocco. I think those
Mm-hmm.
are my favorites. Senegal, defending champions, they have a good squad, they have a good team.
Mm-hmm.
And Morocco, they have some quality players and some okay players. But I think Morocco, what they have ahead of us is that
Mm-hmm.
organization, is that
Mm-hmm.
chemistry, is
Mm-hmm.
that team. They have a good team. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, those are my two favorites, and Nigeria come third.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let us see how it goes.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts before we end this episode, Smith Layi?
So I just want us to support the Super Eagles now. All the preparations already. List is out. If your player is not there, don't be upset too much. It's now Nigeria. It's not about any individual. It's now about Nigeria.
Yeah.
Let's get behind the Super Eagles, and I'm pretty sure that we are going to actually what triumph. And for those that are in Nigeria too, trying to go to the AFCON, there's a lot out on tickets between our first game. People are not buying tickets. Please
Mm,
try and buy tickets. Ivory Coast is not far from Nigeria. Buy tickets. Go there in bulk and support Super Eagles. And I believe
mm,
that this Super Eagle will be super in Ivory Coast.
mm. Amazing. And for anybody that wants to rep Nigeria during the AFCON, you want to show your support for the team during the tournament, you can also feel free to check out eaglestrackershop.com. You can see today I have on my Nigeria football t-shirt.
I'm
You
getting one
can
too.
buy the Nigeria hoodie. You can buy a lot more paraphernalia. If you need Nigeria flag as well, if you need flag to take to Ivory Coast or to wave in your house, like the flag behind me, we also sell Nigeria flag on our website, eaglestrackershop.com. Just check it out, and purchase something for yourself and for your family. It's been a
Yes.
pleasure chatting with you guys. Um, until the next episode, we'll try to bring it to you as soon as possible once we have more to talk about. I would also like us to do some videos, at least a video predicting all the AFCON groups. So we'll
Yes.
do one video where we're just predicting all the groups in the
Yes.
AFCON.
Yes.
And then, of course, I want us to also do another video whereby we're diving deep into Nigeria's group, and talking about
Yes.
all the squads of the four teams in the group, the
Yes.
different matches and how we think things are going to go.
Yes.
Shout out to OJB. OJB Sports is going to be in Ivory Coast reporting for Eagles Tracker. So also during the tournament, we are going to be giving you content back to back to back as it is hot from
As they
Ivory
are.
Coast. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you also follow us on our social media on Instagram and on Facebook, because some content is not for YouTube. Some content will be on Instagram, will be on Twitter, will be on Facebook. So follow us on all the social media
That's fun.
platforms, including TikTok as well. Some content will be for TikTok, so that you are not missing anything from the Super Eagles in Ivory Coast at the
Mm-hmm.
AFCON. Some teams already day camp. I saw Namibia already in camp in Ghana. Some teams are already preparing for this. But yes, let's see how it goes. Thank you
Mm-hmm.
very much, guys. Thank you for
Yeah.
watching.
All
Bye
right.
bye.